All right, before the break, we were talking about Indiana after a loss. Well, how about OKC after a loss in the postseason, a perfect 5-0? And you saw that record get better in game 2 after they lost game 1 and the point differential. The field goal percentage, the 3-point field goal percentage, all pretty darn good after a loss. Let's start now with the OKC side of the story and Mark Daigneault.
We'll take first question here on the left side on the second row on the aisle.
Hi, Mark. I know you have said that you were not talking about the rotation, but in the first game you didn't use two big men together, and you lose the rebound battle, and you use several minutes on the second game, which you win the rebound battle. How is that important for the team?
I mean, the general battle we're trying to win is the possession battle, and there's different ways to do that. In the first game, we were able to win it with turnovers, which tends to be the way we can win it when we're smaller. And in the second game, we obviously rebounded better in those units, which is an advantage when we're bigger. We have optionality. Every game's different. We try to make sure as series go on, we're expanding options. We're not constraining them, and trying to stay aggressive in terms of looking for what's best against our opponent in a given game, knowing that every game is different. So we want to have all the options available. We'll continue to draw on them when we think it's advantageous, knowing that Game 3 is going to be different than Game 1 and 2.
Second row on your right.
Hey, Coach. Brett Siegel of Clutch Points. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about Alex Caruso's leadership off the bench, especially given his championship experience, and how that's a luxury for you guys, especially coming off his Game 2 performance as well.
One thing we talk about with the team is the leader is the person doing the right thing, and that's why he's a great leader, because he's always doing the right thing. He's always competing. He's always present. He's always engaged, and he's always inside the team. And when you do the right thing and walk the walk and operate the way Alex does, it gives you an incredible platform to lead, both through example and, in his case, with his voice as well. But we have leadership all over the roster. We have a lot of different leaders that do so in different ways, but he's certainly, got his fingerprints all over the team.
Nick, back left.
Mark, you have often talked about, needing to continue to evolve through the series, and there being a recognition that, your opponent is not this static thing that you're going against. Big picture wise, how are you incorporating that into, your daily work and attack with the team over the, these few days here in between games?
It's a combination of preparation and openness. You need the openness because you don't know what the game's going to be like, and you don't know what the opponent could do. There's a lot of different things that Indiana's shown over these playoffs that they could pivot to or not. And we try not to guess in those situations, but we also want to prepare for every situation. The one thing we definitely have to be prepared for is just watching them, especially in Game 5 in New York, and then Game 6. In Game 6, they made a conscious effort when they came home off a loss to really ramp up the physicality, pressure. And so that's one thing we have to be ready for coming in here, is understanding they're going to play with a lot of energy. They play very well here. They play very comfortable here. And we've got to level up to that if we want to give ourselves a chance to compete.
Front right, Tim.
Mark, guessing that this was not a team that was impressed by 60 wins, 65 wins, not a lot of teams winning this many games by double-digit points and all that. Why has this team not ever really been that impressed by itself and by all of the outside things that this team has stacked up throughout the year, like the winning percentage and all of that? Why does it not resonate or not seem to resonate with this group?
I think there's just a lot of integrity to the team. I think that starts with the makeup that these guys have. They have great psychological makeup, competitive makeup, personal makeup. And then over time, we've had to really kind of forge into this version of ourselves in invisible spaces. We haven't relied on, anything outside the outcomes, the noise. We haven't relied on that when we weren't winning. We haven't relied on that while we were building. We haven't relied on that while we were rising, and we are not relying on that now that we're in a different position. So I just think the integrity of how this particular group has done it and who they are is probably the answer to that question.
Michael in the front.
Michael Pina, The Ringer. What makes Indiana's transition defense so effective off live ball turnovers, off rebounds? You guys had 4 fast break points in Game 2.
I mean, they've been good at it all year. It's a strength of their team. I think part of it is offensively. They get really, really good shots with balanced floors. You know, they're very rarely like forced into tough situations. They're low turnover generally, and they get really good shots. And usually that is a great starting point with your transition defense. I thought we had 4 fast break points, but I did think we ran pretty well and better in game 2 than game 1, despite the turnovers in game 1. You know, I thought we advanced the ball much more up the floor, got some advantageous plays. You know, there's a play where, you know, we advanced up the floor. We've got them kind of on their heels. Ball hits Kaysen, hits Shea. It comes out to Caruso for a 3. It's like we had more of those plays that don't really reflect in fast break points, but that, you know, give us some flow up the floor and have us running on the misses and the turnovers. And we have to continue to do that. But there's a reason they're here. You know, they do a lot of things well, and one of them is they get back in transition.
Tim, here in the front.
Mark, Shea is obviously elite mid-range, like historically elite mid-range. Everybody knows that. Why is he able to consistently still be able to get to his spots and create space the way that he can?
I think there's just a variety to his game. You know, he can get to there a lot of different ways. He'll post, he'll play the pick and roll game, he can ISO, he finds it in the flow. And so I think the diversity of that helps. And then the diversity of his shot profile. I mean, he'll pass, he'll get to the rim, and he'll shoot threes as well. So it's not like he's just a fastball pitcher. You know, he's got a lot of different things he can go to that can keep teams off balance. And I just thought, you know, in game 2 especially, he just found such a great rhythm and such a great, you know, blend of those things that he becomes much harder to guard and less predictable when he's doing that.
Last 2, David and Dan.
Mark, how's your team's ability to kind of disrupt screening evolved over the last year or two? How has the communication gotten better, and the actual physical ability to kind of make teams screen badly against you and be able to blow those things up? How has that kind of gotten better and better over the last 2 years?
Some of it's personnel. You know, you got to start there. You know, we've got guys that are hard to screen either because of strength or quickness or both. You know, Dort comes to mind, Caruso comes to mind, Dub comes to mind, Kaysen Wallace for sure. So they're really good pursue guys. Having the guys at the rim is helpful because you can't just like spring downhill and assume that there's something good there for you. Hopefully the help is deterring that to a degree. And then, you know, we've just seen more and more pictures as we've gained more experience. We're still like learning the league. We're still learning our own schemes. Guys are still learning their games. A guy like Kaysen Wallace, as good as he is still really learning the pictures. And so it's a combination of those things, but I think it starts with just the defensive personnel and how potent they are with that.